The Disaster Artist is a comedy biopic directed by James Franco, starring James Franco and Dave Franco, and it is the adaptation of the novel of the same name, The Disaster Artist. Yes, I have read it. This is actually a Christmas present, courtesy of my sister, and I've read all of it in like 5 or 6 days. And I finished the last chapter exactly 2 hours before watching the actual movie. And boy, first of all, this book, it's fantastic. It's probably one of my favorite books of all time. It's just an incredibly compelling story, something that just captures you from the very beginning, especially if you're a big fan of the movie like myself. And now let's talk about the actual movie instead of the book. The Disaster Artist movie I loved. There are also some aspects that, objectively speaking, kind of make this less of a great movie. Even though I still really loved it, it's a conflict between being a fan and between trying to be a critic. So let's start with the fan things, okay? James Franco is fantastic as Tommy Wiseau. He plays the character and the real man wonderfully well. He isn't trying to make an impression, he's just capturing the feeling, how he speaks, and it's top-notch, it's very accurate, and you just stop thinking that it's James Franco under all that makeup. He becomes Tommy Wiseau. Dave Franco is incredibly good in this film, even though there are some problems with his character, and probably a problem with the film itself, which comes with the whole adaptation aspect, because The Disaster Artist, the book, goes back and forth between when Greg Sestero met Tommy Wiseau for the first time and the actual making of The Room. So yeah, one chapter is when they first go to Los Angeles, the next one is when they're filming the rooftop scene. So it keeps going back and forth, and the movie is told in set in chronological order, which is great, it's fine, you kind of need it for a film. But what really changes, except for some just artistic decisions, changing some things, which are fine honestly, the focus is changed. The book is written by Greg Sestero, and it is mainly focused on him and his relationship with Tommy. The movie is more focused on Tommy himself, and that's honestly both a great thing and slightly negative thing, because it is a different beast from the book, and that's great, and seeing more of Tommy, some of his darker moments, it's great. But not focusing on the character, on the person, Greg Sestero, you lose some of the heart of the story and some of the even more dramatic scenes. There are a couple of moments that I actually was expecting to see in the film which were not added, where Tommy was just a raging asshole and did some truly disturbing and almost evil things, manipulative things against Greg Sestero, and the film is more romanticized. It is more about just showing this person trying to achieve his dream, and honestly, it works in that regard. This is one of those issues where just having read the actual book, which is also pretty long, well, not long, but longer than the actual movie, it's one of those occasions where if I hadn't read the book, I probably would have loved this even more. It would have been probably a 5-star just out of pure enjoyment factor. Having read the book, some of the changes, do they ruin the movie? Absolutely not. I still think that The Disaster Artist is a very entertaining film. It has a fantastic pacing. The cinematography, it's very documentary style, all handheld, close-ups, some wide shots, but there are also some long takes that just very well good, very well executed during the making of part of the film. The rest of the cast, there are plenty of cameos. You have your Seth Rogen, you have your Hannibal Buress, a lot of other actors. Those were great, and the music itself, both the licensed music is fantastic, very 90s, but the original soundtrack's very subdued, but serviceable nonetheless. So honestly, the Disaster Artist film, incredibly enjoyable from start to finish. It was like 1 hour and 45 minutes long, something like that. It flew by incredibly fast. There was just one time where I looked at my watch for just a second, just to watch if it was getting too late. It was like, what the hell? It's almost the end of the movie? No way. And it was. It's very fast-paced, very well acted, James Franco is fantastic as Tommy, and the rest of the cast is very good. The only real problem, if I can call it a problem, is the adaptation itself. But if you have not read the book, if you're not all that familiar with the making of The Room, this is going to be a great movie, honestly, and I do think it's a really good movie. It's just that, it's that little thing, freaking having read the book before, it's ruined a couple of moments, but objectively speaking, it's a very good movie, not great technically, and like some of the plot points that they use, they're a little bit predictable and very cheesy, but it works. It is an inspirational story about two people, or mainly one person, who wanted to make a movie, who wanted to achieve his dream, lifelong dream, and he did it. He became world famous. There is an Italian critic, film buff, who is talking about him, so he did something good, he did something right. So definitely watch The Disaster Artist and tell me in the comments below, have you read the book and do you like The Room? Tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching, if you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.